Alrighty. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company. Let's go. So, I'm a bit on a time crunch, and there's kind of some stuff going on that kind of needs to, I haven't really addressed and whatnot, so on and so forth. So we got some things to do. So I'm basically going through a backlog of old projects that need to be kind of squared up and get them out there, especially if they have some type of if they run consecutively with something that's going on currently, so on and so forth. So as you guys see in the title, we're talking about BeckyBoop, Keemstar, LOLCOW. This should be the third video in this trilogy, so to speak. If anything else, if Becky does anything else, then I'll let you know. This right here is actually a continuation from the first BeckyBoop, Keemstar, King of LCU, Queen versus Queen of LCU. Essentially, that's what this is. But it'll have a bit more context with the whole Roxy situation, which I didn't have all that information at the time. So that'll help kind of bring that story together. So that's our first video. Our second video, and what will conclude this broadcast, is Becky making an attempt, or taking the first steps, I should say, her first attempts of starting her own network. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into my favorite segment. Hopefully you guys' favorite segment as well. Let's see here. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. So, like I said, this should go ahead and close up the whole situation with what caused Keem and Becky in the LCU to basically splinter, and then Becky trying to go off on her own too. I have to say, I didn't think it was going to last this long. If I remember correctly, the Becky situation happened in like late April, maybe early May, I think. It might have, it had to have been between April and May, because I was off pretty much all of June. And that's when she kind of launched. That's when she kind of launched her own network, or she's at least trying to. And she's also bringing in other LOLCOW universe alumni who have also been spurned by Keemstar. She's starting to bring them into her orbit. And I think the show itself is just her and Roxy, and then I think they have like a third person that comes in every once in a while. So I gotta say, I'm just surprised that it lasted as long as it did. I honestly thought this was going to be a frame-up type situation to see if she could get Keem to bend. It didn't work that way. Yet again, just one of those empty threats, or this was staged, or this was a work, as we've seen. And speaking of which, congratulations to Rob Van Dam and his either wife or girlfriend, whatever, because they're about to have twins. So big ups to them on that. So yeah, big ups to that. And congratulations to them. But I thought it was going to be like a work. It was going to be it was going to be a scripted situation, and it doesn't appear to be, but that doesn't mean that it isn't. I think Becky is trying to go off on her own to build her own brand, but also to show Keem, you need me, and you need me to be not just one of these independent contractors. You need me to be second in command. I need to have ownership. And this is bigger than just her affiliation with Mike. She wants a part of the LCU, not just part of LOLCOW Queens. Most of you would say, well, by owning Queens, doesn't that actually give her some buy-in to LOLCOW universe? Not necessarily. Not in the way that I think Becky's looking at in the long term. If she has a piece of the LCU, she collects her percentage from LOLCOW Queens, plus she can have her own show. And if you guys have been keeping up with Lebrowski, and some of these other guys that are picking up on some of this LOLCOW stuff, or at least LOLCOW universe, or at least the downfall of it, because of some of the restrictions people have for being able to do certain type of content on their individual channels, this would give Becky far more leeway, which goes back to the overall problem with Keem in the first place. Why the hell do you not have people really like doing their own content on their own channel? And it doesn't matter really whether they're talking about LOLCOW universe stuff or LOLCOW stuff altogether, as long as it funnels back to the LCU in the end. So if they have to use their own platforms as billboards or promotion to build up the shows, build up their show that's in the LOLCOW universe or anything above that, why not? You know what I mean? And also, it makes me wonder, is fucking Yo Mama, if you guys keep up with Girl World, you know who he is. I'm wondering, is he must be I'm wondering if he's an independent contractor too, and that's why he's periodically jumping on these shows. Initially, it was just promotion for himself, but it's very clear that LOLCOW universe needs help. And if they can try to bring him in and maybe even try to bring some of the Girl World audience that he has, or anti-Girl World audience, I should say, maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Well, I'll speculate on that shit later, to be honest. But it's funny how that's a situation given what happened to him a couple of months ago with the when they found out what he did to that cat and all that other bullshit that he was doing. So it's interesting how that played out. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And let's actually go ahead and get into our 2 videos at hand. And we'll get it started. Let's go with our coffee shop type situation here. Type deal and whatnot. As you guys know, SnortBucks is on me. First few rounds. And let's see here. Let me get the first video lined up. Oh, yeah, there is... Okay, real quick. Currently in my timeline, like, Phil is MIA. Yeah. I may record a quick video after this speaking on it, what my speculations are. There's a lot of speculation already going on currently, and people are having a great time with it. To be honest, it's been actually a pretty good time. I've been focusing on other shit anyway. I didn't even know he was MIA till recently. Like I said, I'm recording this on July 10th, so he's been MIA for like 4 days at this particular point. I didn't find out till yesterday. I thought he was just taking the weekend off and that was it. Had a small conversation with James the Lesser. Agent Proper came through, and then some of you guys in the comment section let me know. I'm just now kind of getting onto it. It is what it is. I will say this, if by the time you guys see this, probably a while off, but if he's gone 5 days or more, I'd be worried. And I mean worried as in that's when you guys can really, we can, as not you guys, but we as a community, if you will, can really start ramping up our speculation. But you guys should know the rules. If a LOLCOW is missing for 72 hours, you might want to keep an eye out. If they're gone for a week and they're really not saying anything, or they're not trying to drama whore, or they're not trying to attention whore, then it's probably a serious situation on their part, not necessarily for us. Anywho, there's that. There's that. I just want to throw that addendum out there. And here, let's actually get into our first video. So, ooh, starting off screaming already. Sorry about that. All right, I need to get inserts for some of these guys too, because they're putting in a lot of work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be here. Our first video is brought to us by... I'm pretty sure this is LOLCOW Alerts. Yeah, because we already did this one. Okay, so we're here with LOLCOW Alerts. I'll have the link to this video down in the description. And it's BeckyBoop crashes out on Keemstar. Yet again, this is a continuation from the first BeckyBoop versus Keemstar video that I did. Like I said, this must have been in like, I want to tell you like in April or May. I want to tell you it was more likely in April, I think, at the very least. So womp womp to that. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, I think everything's in order. So here, let's get it.
You're welcome, team. You're welcome for your whole fucking show today. Where's my 25%?
Oh yeah, let me set the scene just a little bit for this, to be honest with you, just to give you context, just in case you didn't see the first video, which if you haven't, don't worry about it. The situation with this is Roxy, who was is a person in the LCU, and I think she was affiliated with Queens at the time. Her husband got into had a sudden medical condition that he could have died from. And people were clowning about it, and LOLCOW Queens was clowning and joking about it, and this, that, and the third. But because none of these people look at each other as actual people, everybody kind of just started memeing on it, laughing at it, this, that, and the third. And Roxy and her family actually took some umbrage with that shit because this dude could have died. And on the stream that LOLCOW Queens had at that time, it was supposed to be sending prayers and best wishes to Roxy. And that's not what happened. Keem and Boogie, and I think, and I'm pretty sure Rastoff was there. They commented on it, thought it was bullshit, thought it was out of hand. I think all of that will be in here. And that's what led to the nonsense, which led to Becky crashing out, leading to Keem firing her. And then obviously well, I don't want to ruin it. We'll pick up after that. But this will really give a lot more context. I'm just giving you an abridged and whatnot speed run version. Here we go.
I want my fucking 25% of LOLCOW live.
There he is. There he is. Let's hear more.
Oh no. Becky, you're fired.
Okay,
Oh
great.
no. You're fired. You're BeckyBoop. I'm Keemstar. We are not the same.
It's actually funny too because Mike is actually the head of that show. Like he's the one who allegedly he's the one who produces it, and he has 50% ownership in it. So I'm surprised Keem didn't just have Mike fire her instead of doing it himself. But I guess because Keem was being called out of his name, he decided to step in.
As my mother has twitted my fucking balls. Look here. Look. Listen.
I will say, in our current timeline, Wings is still not back yet, and I gotta tell you, LOLCOW Live has definitely suffered with him not being there. To be honest with you, I'm starting to think that one of the major pillars that are keeping the LOLCOW universe alive is the Big Lebowski, or Lebowski. It's Lebowski or Lebowski, I keep mispronouncing it. My fault to him. But I think it's really Big Lebowski's the only dude that's actually keeping it up, and he's not even part of the LCU. He's just someone who comments on their bullshit. But I think he's starting to become... People are starting to become so reliant on him to maintain interest in the LCU that if he ever did stop, that would hurt even further. So they lost Wings, they lost Becky, they got a bunch of other people that are coming in and out. There were some major talents that they had, if you want to call them talents. There's some major LOLCOWs they had early on who got fired, and now allegedly Keem is asking them to come back, see if they can work out another deal, so on and so forth. And some of these former people are talking a little bit more about their contracts, which they didn't really have any. They had NDAs. Well, they did have a contract, but it was really more of just a giant NDA. So people are speaking more on that. It's interesting stuff in bite-sized pieces. You don't want to take in too much of this shit.
Yes. Hey, Becky.
Hey, are you okay with me being here?
Yes, I'm fine. Yes.
Okay, well, I was typing stuff in the chat, and then I
The one in the jersey up at the top, which should be your top right, that's Roxy.
realized I should just
And the other chick that kind of looks like Amberlyn Reed, I'm not sure who that is. No slap against her. She kind of reminds me of Amberlyn Reed.
come on here and say it. First of all, I'm so sorry. Like genuinely, and I'm not saying this to save face or anything like that. I did not realize this was as serious as it was. And I'm not trying to justify my behavior in saying this, but just so people understand, like I wasn't trying to be a total monster. When Brenda was in the hospital a few days ago for her appendix, like everyone was acting like it was all jokes. I thought this was the same sort of thing. Knowing how serious it is, and especially like the perspective with the thumbnail, how the thumbnail said that we're praying, and then you come in and that it was not about that, and we were taking the, like, we were fooling around about it. I'm really sorry. It's what I'm trying to say. But like you didn't need that stress. If I had any idea it was that serious, I would have just given my well wishes and moved on.
But see, now you got to think about it too. Like I said, none of these people look at each other as people, and that's how Keem has basically set it up. So it's hard to say how genuine Becky really is, how any of them really is, to be honest, or are, I should say. To be honest with you, they all kind of treat each other like shit to a degree, some more than others. Their Discord, if it hasn't been wiped, or at least those, or like a few months ago especially, kind of tells the tale on how some of the people treat each other. And then there's a couple of other individual Discords out there that some people are invited in, some people invited out. It's just like anything else, like how the old SOK like Skype groups were and whatever. So there's probably people just talking mad shit about each other on the consistent basis, but everybody buddies up because they're just trying to collect a paycheck. The long-term ramifications for some of this shit will be interesting. Because I would rather think in the long term than just what's going on day to day. But we'll see how some of this, really shapes up moving forward.
We were told, like, talk about it. So I just talked about what I knew, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all you're going through. I would never try to purposely hurt you with this, and I'm really sorry I hurt you regardless. You're already going through enough.
No, and like I said to Tina, like, I forgive you guys. Like, you guys didn't know the whole situation. I barely spoke to Mike about it. I just kept in contact with Keem and Brentley at times. So I did give them an update while I was in the hospital. And, I just wish that Mike would have just not even used it as content. Just like, why, if you want to prayers for me, great. I love and appreciate every one of you. But the whole content thing was just wrong. And I did it.
I mean, keep in mind, Becky was the one who outed Kid Behind the Camera, or Mike, as a pedo, because of the situation with him and his, well, now ex-wife and whatnot. He started dating her when she was like fucking 50, she was 15 and he was 22. Now, he can say, and most people have tried to defend him and say, oh, well, he didn't know she had lied to him. Well, when she turned 17 and he found out at this point he's 24, he should have just dropped her off then. That should have been a definite, okay, I didn't know for those first 2 years, I'm walking away from this altogether. But he didn't. That makes him what he is. So anyway, Becky outed him on that shit. Whether that was staged or not, don't know, but that shit backfired in their motherfucking face. There's a bunch of shit these people have done to each other where they've outed each other or they've joked or laughed about each other's personal dramas and situations, and people fucking went along with it like it was just one big joke, like they were trying to normalize it, right? It's part of the quirkiness and fucking weirdness and just unpredictability of what is LOLCOW Live, and a lot of people didn't hang with that shit. You know, look at the not purge, but look at the mass exodus of people who left after Winks powerbombed Kelly through that goddamn table. Well, not through it. Her back gave in before the table did. But you know what I mean? Same concept, same depth and style.
He could have came to me first and said, "Hey, Roxy, would you mind if, Milk or Queens talked about your situation and we did a little prayer thing?" And I knew it was genuine. Yes, I would have said, yeah, I don't know what I would have said. But I had no idea that thumbnail was up there until I'm called and pulled on the side of the road and check and see. And then I have to go in there and hear you guys making fun, and the shit you were saying. And I understand that it was a joke and you guys were joking around, but it truly just broke my heart to hear that. It truly did. But I do forgive you, and I don't want nobody to stop supporting Queens, because you guys are great, at what you do. But I was just talking about the whole thing with Brenda.
No, it was inexcusable. And in the future, if there's ever like a chance that I'm going to have to talk about any stuff like this, I'll make sure I know more about it before I open my mouth and say anything.
Yeah.
It's just not worth the potential hurt, I don't know what else I could say for it besides saying I'm sorry. I feel awful, and I know what you mean about how you feel it shouldn't have been used for content. I understand that completely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things in this universe get handled as content where people wouldn't be okay with it, Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you, and I'm sorry I participated in it.
Yeah, but everybody dealt with it though to collect that paycheck, right? So let's not act like we have values and morals and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we're far, far past that situation now. We have been for a good bit. It's funny too how a lot of them are drinkers and a lot of them are drinking excessively. That's an interesting thing too that you see. So you have people up there who, if they're not full-blown alcoholics, they certainly have drinking problems. And that shit's on full display. That shit's on full display, bro, and it's only getting worse.
No, that's I'm gonna catch up to it. Garbage, guys. I don't want you, attacking her and stuff like that. And I don't. I really don't. Becky is an asshole sometimes, and she can be a bitch. But I mean, I think if she truly knew how serious it was for me, I'm thinking maybe she wouldn't have done it. I don't know, or maybe they would have went about it a different way.
But that's the problem. She did because her stream told her and Tina about it. That should be in here. You'll see.
So I forgive you, Becky. I do. I don't want to hold grudges toward anybody, and I would just never ever wish anything bad on anybody's family ever. And I'm not saying you wish bad on me. I'm just saying something to go through, something so terrible. It's the worst thing to do, and I would never wish any harm on anybody. So I do forgive you. I do.
No, it never should have been content, and if anyone were to talk about it, it should be you talking about it, right? It's your story. So again, I think this is very eye-opening for me. I need to be a lot more careful with stuff I say sometimes. Looking back at it and especially hearing the clips now, it absolutely sounds vile. And I don't if people are mad at me for it, that's fine. I deserve it. It's okay. That's what happens. I said shit and now I'm getting shit back, Just look, we're here for you. If there's anything I can do to help, I hope that doesn't sound shallow. I mean it. If you do need time off or anything down the road, if there's any way we could be supportive, I do mean it. I actually do care about you. I think you've been going through a lot of shit over here. We had our issues, but you've been going through a lot ever since your former co-host has been gone. And it
sounds like, first off, she's saying you've gone through a lot of shit for a while and whatnot, but that didn't prevent you or Tina from piling onto her. And then you say, oh, well, we've had our problems and issues in the past, which sounds like more probable cause for you to do what you did. I might be reading into it a little too much, but it is what it is.
Just everything piling on top of it. It's too much for anyone to have to deal with now.
And that's
just, if there's anything I can do better or any way I could support, just let me know, and I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Becky. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, and
I'll hop off. I'll be around on anything.
Okay, thank you.
I do appreciate that you apologize and you're trying to make it right with Roxy. I know this comes across like we're beating a dead horse, but I'm going to go through it because you wouldn't let me talk on your show yesterday. So I'm going to do it on my show. That's fair.
I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying don't fucking lie about it while you do it.
that your justification was that you didn't understand the severity of it, and then you found out the severity and you carried on.
Dude, if you didn't,
People still make jokes. It's jokes. What mattered is if it was serious to.
Yeah, I think this had to be in. I think this was probably in late April or early May, because for those of you who keep up with like Breaking Banquet or Lummox, Hired Hoodlum, big ups to them. They remember when Wings thought he had like testicle cancer, or he thought he had a cancer scare for a little while there or whatever, but he wouldn't get off his ass to actually go and get checked up. That was after this, because I think Rastov, Keem, and Boogie talked about that, and they were laughing and joking about that shit, which I found was fucked up, because didn't Rastov tell us that his mother died from a form of cancer? So you thought you were justified in laughing at somebody else who may be getting ready to go through it? I mean, of course he didn't, but they didn't know that at the time. Semantics.
Foxy,
Do you literally believe the own bullshit coming out of your mouth?
Excuse me, can I ask you a question? Let me just ask you the most simple question.
Am I going to be able to answer, or should I just save it for Queen?
Wait, are you mad that you're being interrupted? This is what you did on my show, on your show. Hey, Tina told me you're not doing your show tonight. Is that true?
I'm going to do the show, and I'm going to be an OBS monkey, and I'm going to click buttons so that she can do her show. I'm not going on camera or talking. I'll maybe do an intro, and that's about it. But if my words are going to constantly be used against me, I'm going to
PPIX super chatted $20. Mr.
Okay,
King,
well,
you should
listen,
get the belt
I know you're mad now,
a big portion
but
on your
if
back.
I said
and
some
Mr.
stupid shit on my
Keemstar,
show,
how
you
was
could
your
react
day?
to it.
And Boogie
You have
Eye
some
joined the
opinion,
Discord and
right?
messaged
Everyone
you.
has a right to have an opinion on what that show was.
It's not just the opinion. It's the misrepresenting things, saying I have to take accountability. I have to take accountability. Why don't you guys take accountability for keeping this conversation going after it was already settled?
Well,
Where's that accountability?
I take full
Where's
accountability
Roswell
for
apologizing
entertaining our audience for 2
for
hours.
fucking with my show
Can I explain
yesterday?
that? Can I explain one thing at once? I've already explained to you that I was saying you weren't taking accountability in the clip that I was watching.
Yes, you explained that, and then you kicked me off before I could even respond. I was going to say, oh, okay, fine, that makes sense. That's not the way I understood it. But instead, I got kicked off and booted. Well, Razog keeps talking about how I'm manipulating people when really that's what he's doing. He's fucking sympathy baiting. I'm the one who gets dragged through all the mud. So you know what? Let him talk and sympathy bait. He's the one who gets paid more for it, right? So let him. I'm not getting paid enough to deal with that fucking shit.
Well, you say shit on your show. We have a right to respond. If I say
Now, it's like she said that Rastov gets paid more than her, but he's like on 2 shows though, isn't he? Because he's on LOLCOW Live, he's on Aussie, I think still. Plus, he's like the community manager or some shit, which I think he's built for the community manager role as well as probably being on Aussie. I don't think he's built for LOLCOW Live though, so I think he needs to cut his losses on that. But the money must be treating him well, so it is what it is.
stupid shit on my show, you give your opinions all the time. It's like right now, Becky, me and you have had a good working relationship for like since Fat Camp, like a little bit after there was Rocky, but there's no reason to fucking blow up and stop doing shows and quitting. I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. I didn't punish you for what you guys said, but I have a right to react to it. I have a right to my own opinion, right?
Yeah, but react to it and acknowledge it for what it is, that you're milking me dry for content. Admit that I'm the fucking content for your show, and maybe treat me like I deserve being treated, like I give something to this fucking universe, because I do, and I don't get recognized for any of it.
Yes, you do.
And that's the reason why I formed my own theory that she's been trying to chip away at Keem probably since the beginning, to be honest with you. In that, hey, I deserve a larger piece of this. You know what I'm saying? I deserve a larger role, maybe even in LOLCOW. Because I got to be honest too, even though I just said, so I'm maybe contradicting myself, even though I just said that I think Rastov is good for, he's probably good as a community manager, I also think there's 10 fucking shows. Then the Discord, and then I think each show has their own individual Discords too, and if they have any problems, they got to take that shit to him. They should split, some of that needs to kind of be split up, and I think I'd rather have 2 people, maybe even 3 people deal with that than just one. You know what I'm saying? Because Keem hates to deal with that drama that goes on in those Discords, but he keeps encouraging the drama, so it is what it is.
I get punished. You know what? I'm the top female performer in the universe. Right now, I can never leave my fucking job. But Rastov, who was on a shitty show, he can get promoted because he wasn't essential on his fucking show. But me, I guess I'm just going to be stuck in Queensland forever, where I'm always the punching bag.
Keep in mind, though, too, Rastov was supposed to be a placeholder. The way it was explained to me, Rastov was supposed to be a placeholder until Wings came back. So, and they really thought they would get Wings to come back because Kelly was going to nag his ass. I mean, shit, at this point, by the end of June, there was talks of maybe we should see if Kelly wants to take the role of LOLCOW Live, which is smart because then that goes ahead and makes Wings feel a certain type of fucking way, and then it'll force him to take his role back and whatnot, which I'm sure Kelly would want the money to flow back through again, plus she can get back into the Discord and talk, because his own Discord didn't work out, or it's not working out, whatever. So, trust me, they've definitely tried to do certain things to get Wings back, and he's not biting. But it's very clear he's not going to go back to PKA. Him and Woody are gaming with each other every once in a while. But even then, that sounds like that's going to stop soon. Not because, Woody wants it to. It's because Wings isn't making no extra money off of Woody or nothing like that. So, I mean, sooner than later, Wings is going to have to make some real choices. So, like currently in the timeline, Grayson ran away. He's back now, like finally after like a day or two. Fucking Wings decided to get off his ass after eating a fucking huge rack of ribs the last time I saw. I might go over that. Decided to get off his ass and finally find Grayson, if he was even missing. But that's what's going on currently in the timeline. Grayson's back. Wings is basically crashing out on his own streams. He needs an outlet. He needs to be able to talk to people, and he's not doing it where he's at. Like, even the trolls are bored with him at this point. He needs to take his ass back to LOLCOW and just take the hit. Whatever people say about you, good, bad, or otherwise, just take the hit and just do the fucking show. And just put a clause in the contract that, hey, I don't want to have to do antics or anything that would require me to have to leave, like his home or whatever. Just do that for the first, 6 months or whatever the case may be. And then you guys can figure it out afterwards when you guys restructure later. End story. Because then this way, that gets Rastov out of this bad situation. It brings some more people back to LOLCOW, and more donations, and then it is what it is. Because currently, things are looking real suspect when it comes to some of them numbers. That's all I'll say. Looking real suspect.
It's the top fucking show in the universe, and it wouldn't be bad being stuck there if that show ends up making 4 times of what it's making now, by the end of the year.
It's not bad being stuck there. You're right. I love being there. I like working with Tina, but every time we start doing good, something fucks with us, including this. We were doing good. Oh, now all of a sudden Becky's a racist. Really? You Keemstar who said Alex?
I mean, she did say what she said, but whatever. She did say what she said.
Is a blank. It's gonna drag me for being racist. That's the universe I'm in right now. I'm tired of being gaslit.
Well, I really hate when people bring up a mistake, a known mistake.
That wasn't a mistake. You called him the N. You called Alex the N-word multiple times. You said he was like a third-class citizen. You said that people like him will always be a third-class. I'm pretty sure he said third-class citizen to people like me. Yada 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 yada. That wasn't a mistake. He meant it. He meant it. And every couple of years, that shit gets brought back up and whatnot, and it looks worse and worse and worse progressively. And then I don't even want to get into the alleged stories that of people trying to send that shit to his daughter's school and all that bullshit, if it even happened. But I had heard stories over the years about shit like that, so obviously that didn't work out. Obviously the baby's mother didn't need that bullshit on her, stained on her and shit. Everybody's okay with saying any type of racist slur until people start getting labeled as a racist. Then all of a sudden people start to have issues. People have problems. It's almost like being called a racist is worse being called the N-word or whatever your slurred choice is. It's super fucking interesting, right? And then years and years later, people are hoping to just be like, oh, it's just a mistake. I didn't mean it. I don't know. If that shit's caught on camera, bro, it looked like he meant it. He said that shit with his whole motherfucking chest. So, whatever. He can say it's a mistake all he want now to keep the advertisers and sponsors in play, but there's also another interesting rumor of back in the day, early commentator community. This is when Keem was beefing with some of those commentator guys. There were supposedly slurs being thrown around in those little discords and whatever. No one recorded it, as far as I know, but if Nicholas was in there, Nicholas Diorio, I figure someone has the audio of it. N-words are being thrown around that shit, and everybody seemed to be okay and laughing it up, even though there wasn't a whole lot of people of any of them dark skin tones in there. But everybody had a good laugh about that shit back then. Was it a mistake then, Keem? Allegedly, of course. But it's Discord, so it's not like it's too far off the mark.
I've taken accountability for 15 years ago to justify some weird fucking take where somehow I can't call out racism now? No, I have a right to call out racism.
So I just, you know what? I'm so tired of having a whole show about my mistake when I already acknowledged and took accountability for it. You could have easily covered.
But see, no one's gonna take you seriously. If you have a history of saying racist shit and then you're gonna call out people for racism, seems kind of weird. Just like how you're working with a pedophile and you feel like you can call out pedophilia. That seems kind of weird because you're in business one, you're in bed with one. So how do you do that? You know what I'm saying? Dick Masterson is going through that shit now, but he's been going through it with that shit with Vito. But then again, Vito has this thing where he likes to use the act of rape against women that he don't like, or at least the women in men's life who he don't like. That's weird. You're okay with that? That's weird. It's weird, but whatever. So there's a lot of nonsense. There's a fucking huge ass rabbit hole to this bullshit.
For something else, if you had other content.
Why did I do the show about you guys today?
Because your ego got hurt, in my opinion, that I didn't let you talk and tell me exactly how to apologize yesterday. The truth was, I didn't need to hear that I needed to say I'm sorry. As soon as I saw that Roxy was hurting from it, the words were ready to pour out of my lips.
But did you or did you not play a part in forcing me to react to all this by not letting me speak on your own show?
On the show, you could have talked more. I just didn't let you drag out the apology bit. I was like, let me just nip this in the bud. If that's an issue, of course I'm sorry. Let me just apologize for it right away. But then you wanted to drag it out and on and on.
No, I wanted to explain why. I was trying to give you information that you didn't have about why it was serious, and you wouldn't let me talk.
I let you talk after I apologized.
And then after that, then you made this whole fucking thing about Rastov, which we're going to respond to. You're talking about our co-host.
Well, that's fine. You can respond. I was fine with you responding to any of it. But just respond to it accurately. Stop saying and riling up the people saying I'm not taking accountability when the issue has already been solved.
How many times are we going to loop on the same thing I was talking about in that clip? You said you were sorry, and then you continued to make jokes after in that clip. At that time, you were not taking accountability. You since have.
And maybe if you had, instead of kicking me off out of anger, you just let me say, oh, okay, I didn't understand that's what you meant. I wouldn't have been so hot under the collar. But then I get kicked off. Rastov's talking his shit.
But you do know why you were kicked off, right? Is because the whole point of us doing it is because you wouldn't let me talk yesterday on fucking Queens. So
yes, because your ego was hurt and you're punishing me. It's not really about what I said about Roxy.
Okay.
The point is it's because you want to punish me.
It's not that my ego is hurt. It's just the fact that Keemstar is going to be able to give his opinion on Keemstar's show. Has nothing to do with ego. I'm not going to let you stop me from expressing my opinion on my show. It's not ego.
I didn't have a problem with you expressing your opinion. I saw what your show was going to be today. I saw my face was on every thumbnail because, gee, I learned it's fucking important to look at thumbnails even if they're all clickbait. So what? Fine, talk about me, but stop misrepresenting things. And that is what was happening.
I didn't. Okay, we're looping. All right, have a good show, Becky.
Today, because if people want to take my words and use them against me and twist them every which way so that other failing shows have content, guess what I'll do? I'll just take my fucking words away so you can't use them anymore. So the show is for Tina. I'm here for Tina. I will be your neighborhood OBS monkey for the day and button clicker.
Let me start by saying this. All you guys with the L's in the chat, you're welcome to leave. I mean, we made one mistake. We made up for it, but nobody ever told us about the apology type. I mean, we apologize.
Telling those people to leave doesn't do anything. To be honest with you, telling people to leave because they're still criticizing you doesn't do anything. To be honest, like you're gonna just have to roll with the punches. And see, it's stuff like this is what got Wings scared. That's why Wings don't want to go back on LOLCOW. He misses the fuck out of that money. You know what I'm saying? Because if the statistics or if the statistics or the figures are somewhat accurate, we're talking about like $60,000, maybe $70,000. It's just gone. Now, I for one don't believe he sold his stake, so he's still getting residuals. Maybe they're just giving him an extended period off, and eventually he's gonna have to show back up, especially during the holidays, which would be a good look. These are just my theories. I have no proof of any of this. This is just what I'm speculating. But I wouldn't be surprised if Wings did show up during the holidays. And I could be completely wrong. I'm okay with that. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong in the future. But I wouldn't be surprised if he pops back up like towards the end of the year, you know what I'm saying? Or at least during the holiday season where, you know, you kind of need all hands on deck to make sure they get this holiday money in. So we'll see. We'll see.
Talk to Roxy.
But you sitting there, but people criticizing you on a live stream, if you're not going to ban them, which banning them doesn't help you, so you shouldn't even do that, telling people to leave is not going to do anything. It really is not. Just do the show, roll with the punches, and keep it pushing. It's only going to hurt you as long as you let it hurt you.
Personally, and you guys are literally condemning us for having our opinions and maybe doing some weird shit with jokes that we shouldn't have done. I get it, but you can take your L's and shove them up your fucking ass and use it for a fucking ass cane for all I give a fuck. You got it? Don't care. You guys have said some sick shit your damn selves around the corner.
Oh, totally. You mean like Roxy being a nurse who makes fun of other people's disabilities and that fucking gets swept, but God forbid.
I mean, she almost lost. I mean, didn't Roxy almost lose her job, or didn't she lose her job for that bullshit? Because that shit got taken offline, and supposedly like Savage was leading the front. I don't remember now, but yeah, like I think Roxy like lost her job over that, lost her pension or something along those lines. I'm not sure if that ended up getting worked out, but there was a whole fucking shit fest over that nonsense. So let's not act like that shit didn't come back on her. And like I said, while that was going on, everybody was still profiting. Everybody was still talking about it. So what's your point?
I say anything.
Nobody in this situation are good people. That's my point. Everything is fair game over there.
About Roxy and I'm the bad one. Well, you know, apparently apologizing doesn't mean anything around here because no matter how much you apologize, you get told you don't take accountability and they keep shoveling shit down your throat.
Well, who the fuck made him God? At night, I make it right with the Lord above. That's who decides how I leave this earth. Not you, Keems, Rastop, Boogie, Ken. None of you motherfuckers determine how we leave this earth.
Now, I'd like to tell you that, okay, you know, Tina's kind of had a track record of keeping that type of energy going. So, all right, I roger that. Until Keem comes in later. And then somebody gets folds, like wet paper, like a wet paper towel and shit. And it was kind of sad to see. I wouldn't have expected that. Let's continue.
So if you don't like what we say, we get it. We made an apology. What else you want us to do?
You know what I have to say about it? I will say one more thing. Since apologizing doesn't mean fucking shit around here, and if you guys want to spam L's at me for it, here's what I have to say, and then I'm just gonna shut the fuck up because anything I say gets used against me around here.
Just like it gets used against everybody else. Let's not act like it's not an equal opportunity type situation over there. Everybody can catch it.
Do that to you. Don't let them shut you up. You know, when you were fucking down and out, you were having mental health problems about your fucking situation that we don't talk about anymore. Everybody dragged the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
You mean that fake sexual assault charge she put on that one guy that she still can't prove? There's no rape kit and there's no police report, at least that has surfaced as of yet. We talking about that one? I just thought I'd throw that out there.
You're letting them win by keeping your camera up, and that's been showing up for our people that have been there for us.
$20 lasted 20 seconds of having your voice.
Tina's right, but that's pretty good manipulation to get fucking to get Becky to suit up and get on the show. It's clever.
Taken away before the ego overtakes.
Well, you know what?
On the floor laughing emoji.
Apparently having egos is the norm around here. If Keem's allowed to have an ego, so the fuck am I. And part of me having an ego is I know how the fuck I'm supposed to be treated. So maybe I don't fucking talk around here anymore until I get the fucking apology I'm owed. And until then, everyone else except for Tina can fuck right off.
Well, I don't think you're going to get that apology because one thing about Keem is, and this is another people keep on saying, what about Keem? What about Keem? First of all, I've never leaned on Keem, okay? I don't need Keem to determine whether I'm a good person in this world or a bad person. I appreciate and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here, but I'm not kissing nobody's ass, including his. You can best believe that. I know my worth. I don't need anybody on YouTube to tell me my worth. Because worthiness only means right in the real world, not in fucking Fantasy Island on fucking YouTube, where people say the outlandish shit, and only certain people get dragged for it and other people don't.
I go above and beyond constantly, and I get shit on. I get my words twisted on me for 2 fucking hours because Keemstar doesn't have a fucking show or any content to talk about while everything is floundering. I go on and try to say my piece on there. Oh, no, Becky, you gotta go. I have a show to move on to while they continue to talk about me for the next fucking hour. Okay. And Rastov's sitting there so smug. You're still a fucking idiot, Rastov, and you still fucking suck.
When you help each other, you're not supposed to talk about it, right, Rastov? You remember when Keem was going to cancel your show? And I got out of my fucking bed and went and got my people?
Oh,
because
yeah,
I thought you deserved that, and I still think you do. So you helped me, I helped you. So why is it that I owe you more?
Oh,
because you're on the big show? Fuck the big show and fuck you!
Because he was only helping you, Tina, until he got what he wanted. And
that could be said for anybody over there, though. Like, there's no loyalty over there. DTA, don't trust anybody. There's no loyalty over there. Whenever somebody gets elevated, I wouldn't say this for everybody because it's not true, but I would say at least in that environment, when anybody gets elevated, they would easily shit on other people as they moved up. I would say the only person who probably wouldn't is probably Billy the Fridge, but even then, I can't put nothing past that guy. So, you know, I would say he may be the only one that could handle it. But even then, I can't even really say that for sure. But as for the rest of these people, nah, not at all. Not at all. The moment the sheep becomes the wolf, everybody's fair game.
Now he fucking did. He's two-faced just like everyone else around here. Fuck you, Rasov, and fuck you, Keem, for being so stupid you can't see it. Jesus Christ.
Oh, he can see it. He can see it.
He sees it and he
Now
doesn't care.
He decided that because they built a show, whoever comes on later gets whatever they tell them they get. Well, that's funny because we built our show and you guys get equal parts of it.
Yeah, what about that, Keem? What do you do for our fucking show now besides take 50%? What the fuck do you do besides fuck with our show every time our numbers are doing good? Funny how we were doing good despite everything that was thrown at us, and all of a sudden now Becky's a racist, and you guys all come in here to pile on me yesterday to content farm my fucking udders, and you got it, and now you don't like that I don't like what you have to say? You don't like that I point out that I did take accountability? How about for all those clips you played, Keem? Why didn't you fucking show the one where I apologized? Funny how you missed fucking that one. Stupid.
She does make a point. So what she's talking about is messing with their show and whatnot. The primary thing she's talking about, I should say, is their time slot, right? Because they had a locked-in time slot, and so because remember, the three main shows was LOLCOW Live, then LOLCOW Queens, and then I think Rewind. And those were like the big three, if you will. They each had their slot, they all had their purpose, and this, that, and the third. What happened with Queens is Queens was doing great in their spot. What Keem thought was, okay, you know, I made y'all, so I'll just move you to another slot. I'll move one of the weaker shows to your original one. You'll build up that slot for me. Then I'll go ahead and move you to another weaker slot. You'll build, I'll move a weaker show into there. And he was going to basically keep doing that until he could get everybody to a certain plateau, right? Or to a certain level. And it doesn't work that way. Not always. Sometimes you can get away with that. Out of the 10 shows, minus the three primary ones I talked about, so that's really 7. Maybe for 3 shows that could work. The other 4 are just going to have to get better, or the format needs to change or something, right? It's just kind of one of those things. You can cut corners with some of those like offhanded business strategies and whatnot, like, you know, basically the Band-Aid type strategies, but it's not going to work in the long term unless the show can really bring itself to where it needs to be. That might help in the short term, but that's not going to help in the long term. And every time he tried to move them around like that, they lost more and more and more exposure because people are used to seeing people do something at a certain time in the story, and especially in a format where you have all these different shows and they're all kind of lined up in a certain type of way. Kicking somebody out of a time slot is just not a smart move in the long term. Keem had to have seen that, or he had to have known it. At least one would think.
I'll be right back, Tina. I'm going to be back in a few minutes.
When the Milkers were doing their show, you guys, you remember they said Tina needed to lose her other leg? Tina needs to get on a skateboard and be a clown on a skateboard. You guys all thought that was funny. I pretty much thought it was funny too. But I said I did say a few things I shouldn't have said. And here comes Keem right now. Keem, now Becky won't turn on her camera, and I'm stuck holding the bag as usual, and I'm always the bad guy. Why am I the bad guy? I talk to Rock.
Did you guys really ask like what I do for your show?
No, I didn't ask you shit. I didn't ask you nothing. Becky did.
Becky said that.
How quickly you threw her under the bus. I thought that you guys were a united front, 2 strong women trying to stand up against the man. As soon as the man showed up, so to speak, then all of a sudden, God damn, Tina, what happened to all that energy, bruh? You know what I'm saying? What happened to all that energy? The moment Keem came in, all that shit got shut down. She went ahead and fixed her whole motherfucking face. Xylee gets accused of doing that shit too. But then again, it's Xylee, so one can expect that. But that's fucking crazy.
Just so you know, what I do for your show is redirect you 5,000 viewers.
Oh, I know that, but Becky says you owe her an apology, Keem. You know how it works with Becky. For some reason, she needs your okay on every fucking thing. She can't go on in life if you if you say bad things about her. That has nothing to do with Tina Dandridge.
Well, I mean,
yo, look, even Keem was taken back by this. Like, he's like, wait a second, you do realize she's still your host, right? You realize that she's like right there, right? You do realize that you toss it, like, you can tell it was going through his head, like, this is getting awkward. Why are you tossing her under the bus for me? But see, that's what I'm saying. They all do that in some way, shape, or form. A wild shit, bro. It was bad enough that, you know, Keem was basically plucking LOLCOWs from all these different communities and whatever. But the fact that there is no real loyalty and whatnot, that Keem could literally pick these people off one after another, and the other ones will just fall in line because none of them have any fucking spine to speak for themselves and shit. There's a reason why shit's failing the way it is. Like I said, we'll see if they make it through the holidays. We'll see. At least some of these other shows. Like, I mean, LOLCOW Live should make it at least till next year unless something really, really drastically happens. But some of those other shows they have out there, it makes you wonder.
I'm not going to apologize. I have a right to my opinion, and I'm going to express it. You know, it just is what it is. And it's like, you know, yeah, we didn't plan on talking about just Becky that show, and we didn't, by the way. We did talk about the tattoo stuff with Rastov. We did talk about the Lego video, but I had a whole docket of stuff that I wanted to talk about. But it took us forever to get through it because Becky kept calling in.
Oh,
I don't know if they ever even did that whole tattoo thing. I kind of faded out after that. But Rastov was supposed to get a tattoo. I think he was supposed to get a tattoo of LOLCOW Live. I think actually the members of LOLCOW Live could vote on it. I can't remember now. I will say this, though, surprisingly enough. I'm surprised that Keem hasn't told... Let's reword that. I'm surprised Keem hasn't made it a mandate that for some of these people that they don't have their particular show branded or tattooed on them to, like, show their allegiance that they're going to be there for the long haul. I'm really surprised that's not a thing. Because he kind of tried to do that with Rastov. Try to get him to do a tattoo. Or get a tattoo. And why not? He went ahead and had Boogie do it. You know, of course, no one can see that tattoo anymore, and it's more than likely a temporary whatever. But if you can get one person to do it, you could probably get another. And Rastov was kind of kicking and screaming at that shit last I saw. Literally all the way to the bank with it. But I'm really surprised that's not something that he's done. Hey, for each one of you guys who are on that show, you have to get a small tattoo of that show's label or that show's mascot or brand or whatever logo. And hell, right next to it, you have to get the LOLCOW Live one tattooed on you too, somewhere visible. I'm surprised he never did that. But who's to say that he hasn't tried?
Know that I didn't know she was calling in, so I didn't know that. The only thing I knew is she wasn't coming to work tonight. She'd run OBS, but that was about it. She's taking a mental health break, she said.
You know, when I mess up, you know what I do? I sit there, I take all my L's, everyone picks on me, talks shit about me. When Becky messes up, it's everyone else's fault. Like, come on.
Everybody picks on me. This is a guy who ran Drama Alert. Kind of still does. But you know what I mean? Everybody picks on me. All right, Keem. Good God. I don't know if LOLCOW Live has made him more psychotic or if it's just made him soft. Could be both.
It's getting old.
Well, this is the monster that you created months ago, brother.
But now she's giving me the silent treatment. Like, come on, you're acting like a child, Becky.
Did Keem just come on here and say I'm giving him the silent treatment when I was literally not at my computer? I said I was going to be right back.
Calling into the show and causing them to talk about you even longer because you wouldn't stop interrupting the show.
Oh, yeah, that's cap. Please. I was all they had to talk about besides Rastov's fucking tattoo that they talked about and baited donos for the last 3 fucking shows. I was AFK. I was putting on a dress so I could turn on my camera. Fix it.
It's only fair that you guys keep talking about what you did for our show, and I appreciate it, but I did for you first. I thought we were just one hand was wiping the other. So all of a sudden, you're now.
No, you're two-faced, Rastov. That's
said anything other than that I was
Oh, you know what, Rastov? Do you like being talked over? Do you see how I'm talking over you right now? This is what you did the whole time I was on your show, so you could repeat yourself 3 fucking times and not be able to get a word in.
I was just really upset yesterday. I'd still help you out again. I was just
I don't want your fucking help. You could take your dick and shove it up your own ass. Fuck off, Rastov. Get out of here, you traitor. You're a fucking traitor. Go back to your show where people lie to you. Goodbye, Rastov. Fuck off. I get kicked off your show. Get my boot right up your fucking ass. You're used to taking it that way, aren't you, you sorry cunt? Bend over, bitch!
Created a monster!
Bend over, bitch! You wanted me on camera? I'm on fucking camera. Rasta, you sad, pathetic excuse for a man. You had the nerve when I went off before saying, oh, she's...
I gotta say, despite what you may think of Becky, I honestly think that the LCU needs her. I really do. Like, you know what I'm saying? I really think they do. I mean, they're going to keep moving forward regardless, but I think in the same way, well... kind of in a similar way that they need Wings. I think Becky would be a better asset than Wings would be in the long term, unless you can appease Wings and whatever. But it's at the point now, bro, that like, if they don't get Becky back, they may never get Wings back. Because Becky and Wings are allegedly still close. So if there was anybody that could kind of talk Wings back into it, or at least help talk him back into taking his position at LOLCOW Live, it would probably be Becky. She's at least one of them. I don't think she's the only person, but she'd definitely be one of them.
Just sympathy baiting while you were talking about your mother dying when it's Roxy going through something with her husband. Wow, Rastov finds a way to take the situation and make it all about you. And you know what else while I'm at it? Since apologies don't matter.
Not Roxy.
Oh no, Roxy's getting it too. You know what else, Roxy? Fuck you right up your fucking ass too. I apologize. You want to come at me? You no, you know what? Tina doesn't have to handle. They all want to act like I'm a fucking evil bitch. Here's your evil bitch. Fuck you, Roxy. Try harder before you come at me. Try to take advantage of the fucking moment. What, Mike? Better to just let it all out now. Better to just let it all out now because Roxy was all okay with everything when I was going to do a stream for her. But as soon as she sees Keem coming down on me, then all of a sudden it's poor Roxy again, and I'm disgusting and I'm the worst. Always flip-flopping to take advantage of anything.
Becky, she couldn't even redirect today because you got her all miscombobbled. You fucking that lady so fucking mad she couldn't redirect.
This wig looks horrible. She can't even do the most basic fucking things. And that's the bitch getting swept for? That's the bitch you're gonna sweep for. Boogie shouldn't have sold all those brooms. He needs it to sweep after Rastov and all the other shit in the LC. And let me tell you more. I'm out of breath. I have so much to fucking say. The LCU...
Tina is a grifter. She will throw anybody under the bus to save herself and her job. She's like a cockroach. She will survive a nuclear holocaust. Becky, you know I like a crazy bitch, okay? You know I'm into crazy bitches, okay? So...
Here's the thing.
That's why he's put up with me for all these years.
Well, let me tell you more because I'm not done yet. Keem, you better watch... Keem, you better watch real fucking close how well you treat me going forward. Because guess what? I don't need the LCU anymore. But the LCU sure as fuck needs me to be entertaining. You need me because I'm all you had to talk about for your entire fucking show. So stop acting like a bad...
Well, I'm not sure if I agree with all that, but I do think that Keem needs her in some capacity, to be honest. And yet again, I don't think she's given up on the LCU. I think she's literally like, I'm going to establish my own brand. And if I maintain a certain amount, because Keem's obviously still watching her, Keem will have to bring her back in, but he's going to have to actually do business with her. You know what I mean? Now, keep in mind, for those of you who know your lore, Becky's only there because she ain't dunked on fucking Review Tech USA on Rich. That's how she got the position locked in, which is ironic because that's what solidified the relationship between Kino Casino and DSP. So goddamn, bro, Rich is like 2024 and 2025 have been shit. Holy crap, man, if you really think about it.
Maybe you should sit the fuck down and take notes, Keem, on how to create content, because it seems like I'm the only bitch who's worth talking about around here.
Get your ass in here!
You're welcome, Keem. You're welcome for your whole fucking show today. Where's my 25%? I want my fucking 25% of LOLCOW Live.
There he is. There he is. It's your roar.
Oh, no.
Becky, you're fired.
Great.
No.
You're fired. You're BeckyBoop. I'm Keemstar. We are not the same. I'm sick of press. When you did this at camp, I told you not threatening.
Okay,
you
I guess
didn't
I'm fired. Bye.
Turn on us.
I came back to say this now because the stream is still live. Somebody needs to go tell Keem or somebody else to pick up the stream because right now I haven't ended it so somebody else can come on.
So here we go. Take for Tina again, like at before Fat Camp. I love how this works.
He fired
you tell me. To be a team player. I come when I can't even talk. I come with fucking pus coming out my leg. I come with green shit pouring out my fucking
Tina.
That's fucking gross. Anyway, I do kind of want to go back. I don't think I've ever gone over Fat Camp except for the power bombing. But I think I do want to actually either myself or Diggs will like clip something together to make it far more streamlined and shit, because trust me, I'm gonna end up adding a lot of that shit regardless to how Fat Camp went, because now that I really think about it, Fat Camp was like the ultimate gamble. I don't think it was meant to be. I think it was just supposed to be just an event that they could farm for donos and shit. The trip theoretically should have paid for itself multiple times over, and I feel like they took the ultimate risk doing that shit, and it didn't. And I think that may very well be one of the, one of the many nails in the LCU was Fat Camp. I don't know. There's just so much mess over there, and there's still shit that hasn't even come out yet. We don't know everything that went on at Fan Camp behind the scenes and shit. There's still a whole lot more nonsense that went on, and we still don't even have all of it. We still don't even have all of that yet. So, I don't know. It might be something cool to kind of go over. That'll be a long one, but it might be fun.
And you motherfuckers leave me for hanging.
You're yelling at the wrong person. I didn't quit. I just got fired. I'm still hanging on here even though I just got fired till somebody else can come in. So Michael, whether it's you or somebody else who wants to pick up OBS, maybe Keem himself, since he's the one fucking up, how about you, big bad boss, while you take off your fucking hat and show the world your bald-ass head that contains your pea brains. Shit for brains.
Becky,
Apparently you're the one who should have been in the hospital, Keem, for being full of fucking shit.
No one's going to pick up the slack. I think the show's just over. Tina,
The show is still going, Boogie, so shut the fuck up.
You miss me.
That still kills me that Keem did that shit. Oh my god, freshly waxed and everything. Holy shit. That shit's hilarious.
What the fuck did I do?
Good.
What
You know
did
what,
I
Keem?
do?
You know what,
No,
Keem? Now
you're
go to
wearing
your
your hat.
studio.
I know. I'm showing my big bald head, just
Good.
like Becky said.
Good.
What now?
Now you could go to your studio and run
What now?
OBS for the next few hours since I'm
What
fucking
now?
fired. Yeah,
What
keep the
now?
hat off for 2 fucking hours. Keep it off the whole fucking 2
What now?
hours.
Becky,
You just
you're
fired
not
me.
gonna
What? I
threaten.
don't have to
I
listen
don't
to you
need
anymore.
you and all this other stuff. If
Cool.
then just
You
go.
don't need me.
No
Go
one's gonna
find
be
somebody else to
scared.
run OBS. I don't need
Yes,
to
I
listen to
need
you
you.
anymore. You're not my fucking boss.
I need you.
Well, maybe you shouldn't threaten people.
I didn't threaten
No,
shit.
I
You
don't
want to
have access
fire
to
me?
the OBS until
Fire me.
tomorrow.
I don't Keem, I need
somebody,
you.
motherfucker. I'm tired of getting my goddamn pay cut. Every time, Keem, I am showed up. I have done my job.
She made a mistake, and she can't deal with the fact that people were upset at what she did.
You fired
So
me.
this is what
You
she
fired
does.
me.
She
Why are
goes
you
and
still
crashes
here?
out.
Keem, come back when you're not fucking looping. How about that? That's right. I just kicked you off. Go find somebody else to run OBS because I don't have to listen to your shit anymore. Go.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
do. 'cause
listening.
you're
I'm
gonna walk
fired.
out in
When you
5
come on
minutes.
camera and I see you mouthing, I'm sorry, I'll put my headphones back on.
Keem is not going to say he's sorry. Goddamn, Becky. You know, goddamn.
No.
well, Keem is
He
not.
fired me. Until he
not.
rehires me, I
This
don't
whole-
work here anymore. Take
this
it
whole
back,
crash
Keem,
out is
or
just
just fucking fire me.
ridiculous.
I don't fucking care either which way, but stop
Keem.
wasting my fucking time. If I'm not appreciated here, just get rid of me. Fucking
You are
idiots.
appreciated. You are appreciated, and I give you your
Yeah,
flowers
I'm so
all the
appreciated.
time.
You just fired me. Well, guess what? I'm professional
Give
enough.
me get
I kept
bars,
the
give me
stream
one
going.
bar.
Go find yourself another OBS monkey, or figure it out amongst yourselves. I don't fucking
Here
care.
we go with
But
that
don't think you're gonna
again.
come at me
That
and
raises
talk to me
another
that
flag.
way and think I'm gonna fucking
God
take
damn
it.
it.
I'm going AFK.
Fine.
Keem,
Yep.
why do you let her do this? It's almost like everybody thinks that she has something over you. That's why she gets away with what she does to you. None
That's the theory. And whatnot. That was a theory that she does have some. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that has dirt on all of them. Like, look at what was her name? Lynx. Look at the shit that she was sitting on or whatever, whatnot. The whole Keem. He wanted to glaze her and all that, like some Krispy Kreme donuts or whatever. And she just threw that out there. What did she even gain from that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did she even gain from all of that? But whatever. The point being is that I wouldn't be surprised if Tina had dirt on Keem. I really wouldn't. So now what it is, don't know. It doesn't even really matter at this point. But it would be interesting though. Gotta tell you.
Hey, he just fired her. He just fired her, Tina.
She's still here. She's still here, motherfucker. You fat motherfucker. Pickle whip.
Because she doesn't want to end the show for us right now. She's trying to get someone else to take over OBS. I don't even have access to OBS because I don't have a computer until tomorrow.
I know that.
Who cares if the show-
We have to do shit too.
Okay, but
You know
honestly,
what,
who
Keem?
cares
I'm
if the
muting
show goes down
everybody for a
one day?
second because
It's
you know what,
just-
Keem? I was on your fucking
I
show.
do.
I was on your show, and you booted me and said I was interrupting your show. Well, now you're interrupting my show. Get the fuck out, or do it
Hey, help
yourself.
me. Off the show. Why y'all doing it live? This is fucking ridiculous. This show's real fucking retardation to the fullest
Tina,
right.
this is the most entertaining show we've put on in months.
Well, no shit,
Okay,
because I'm the one who always
Becky,
brings the
let me
fucking
let you
content.
speak.
I'm the only one who brings the fucking content, going through mental breakdowns and everything else.
Oh, yeah, you're the only one
Tina,
who
mute.
knows the whole
Tina,
show.
Tina, I'm
yourself.
kicking you
just
out too.
mute,
You can
Tina.
come back when it's resolved. Do I have a fucking
Okay.
job? Am I working here or am I fired? Because if I'm fired, I don't have to listen to a word you have to say.
Becky, all right, you're gonna have to listen and not interrupt, so I can explain my position.
Funny how even
right?
on my show I have to shut up and listen to you. Funny how that works. You're able to bitch and have an opinion. Why can't I?
And that's why these people are lol cows. This is exactly why these people are lol cows. And yet again, this is why I tell y'all, and anybody can be a lol cow, myself included. Like, the degrees of separation, it don't take much. It really, really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing high and mighty about, you know what I'm saying, fucking laughing or critiquing or whatever, you know, fucking lol cows online. But the margin for error that can fucking have you tip the scales in you being a lol cow yourself is very fucking thin. Very thin. It doesn't take much. You know what I mean? And yet again, how much of this shit is fucking fake? Well, she still hasn't come back yet. But like I said, I think this is part of a much larger scheme. But how much of this is fake? How much of this is real? Is it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? The behavior itself kind of speaks for itself to some degree. You know what I mean? Like, did anybody really win anything out of this? Was there really any motive? Was there any rhyme or reason behind it? You know what I'm saying? And if there was, then yet again, it's just short-term gains, which is only kind of masking or prolonging long-term losses.
I thought everyone's allowed to have an opinion. Why can't I come on my own show and say what I feel? How about you?
You
Get
totally
the fuck
can.
out. If
You
have
totally
something to
can.
say, go say it on your shitty show. Get the fuck out.
Action out so bad.
Tina's the only one who could fucking stay. What, Keem? What do you want? I have respect for your show and let you do your fucking show. Can you have some respect for me?
Look, if you want to stay here, right, and you want to continue the show, fine. You can't be threatening that you don't need the LCU. We had so many talks about this. You can't be doing that.
I'm not saying I'm quitting. I'm stating an objective fact. I do not need the LCU the same way you do not need BeckyBoop. So maybe instead of strong-arming each other and shutting each other up, you could have had some basic fucking respect for me today instead of kicking me out of the stream when I tried to defend myself and now not even letting me talk now. You're lucky I'm even fucking here. Get the fuck
You
out,
know what
Keem.
I'm referring
Get
to.
out. Get the fuck out of my house. This is my stream, my house. You don't even earn your fucking 50% anymore. So if you don't like being talked to without respect, then try having some fucking respect for your #1 female entertainer. Fuck off. It's mine. You got to talk for an hour and a half. It's my turn now. Goodbye. Jesus Christ. You're welcome for a fucking entertaining show, by the way. You're welcome for waking people up, by the way.
Fucking kick me over and over again.
I will kick you as many times as I need to. You had no problem kicking me. Apparently that's allowed around here. So goodbye. Let him end the fucking stream. He could also end my employment while he does it if that's what he
Pissing
wants
me
to
off.
do. Are you gonna keep swinging your dick around, Keem, or can you let me run my fucking show the same way I let you run yours?
I just want you to acknowledge that you'll stop with the threats and fuck the LCU and
What
all that shit,
threats?
because you
What
can't do
threats?
that.
I would love for you to stop misrepresenting me. How about that? But you never will. You never will.
You acknowledged that I didn't misrepresent you. Okay,
No,
do
you
your
still
show.
did,
I'm gonna
even
leave.
after
Do your
I
show.
left. Even after I left. Thank God.
She said Mike set her up. She believed that Mike set it up, that we were going to make fun of her husband for content, and I said, absolutely not. Mike would never do that.
Now, you guys can clear. What did I write in the notes yesterday to talk about her husband? What did I say?
You can't explain anything.
You can't really put anything past, like I said, you can't put anything past any of these people. But you can't put anything past Mike. You can't put anything past any of these people. They're all scumbags in some way, shape, or form. Holy shit. Let's not, like I said, let's not act like there's any morals to this shit. That does not exist.
Give her some well wishes, and we did. We hoped the shit wouldn't go into his eyes and come out his fucking ears.
There's no point to explaining it, Tina, because none of it is rational. It's all an overblown explanation because Keem has no fucking content. Because LOLCOW Live is now worse than LOLCOW Queens. Enjoy the paycheck from LOLCOW Live. Well, it's as fat as your ass is, Rassoff, because it ain't gonna last for long going at this rate. And you got nothing else to rely on.
He's not wrong. They had a show the other day in our current timeline. Like I said, they had Yo Mama on there. Didn't do well. That show did not do well, at least donation-wise or whatever. Then Keem had to jump up there, and he kind of he was super upset, obviously. So, yeah, it's. I mean, the numbers don't necessarily lie.
Yeah.
Can't wait till you're starting, and maybe you'll lose some fucking weight.
Yeah, tell him, Mike. Tell him what you think of Rassoff. You said he's a clown with lipstick on.
I don't know Rassoff. Now listen, if we're all going down with the fucking Titanic, I'll tell. After the show yesterday, I said I thought the jokes were fucking funny. Okay, I have a twisted
They
sick
were
sense of
funny.
humor.
They
I wish Roxy didn't have to hear it, but I laughed. When I tell you guys in the notes that I want you guys to be you, this is what I'm talking about. This is the fucking queens. This is what I want.
Well, you're welcome,
This is why you guys are the best show in the LCU. I feel like Michael Vick and you're my two fucking pit bulls that I'm fucking sicking on the LCU in a fucking dogfight. This is what I'm talking about.
And then Keem tries to send a
The fuck? All right. All right.
fucking chihuahua after us. Keem put
I know, ankle
Rassoff.
biter.
I'm gonna give you the same advice I gave to you about Brantley, except this time it's about Rassoff. Keem, put your bitch on a leash. Put your bitch on a leash.
Well, there you go with that. So that was oh shit. Well, that was LOLCOW alerts. Big ups to them. The link will be down in the description for that. All right, so our next and last video that will basically round all of this off is hold on a second.
Here's what happened.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, last and final video to round off our broadcast will be it's brought to us by Round One. The link to their video to this video will be down in the description also. Let's see. Becky tries to launch her own network, the BBU, the BeckyBoop universe, and whatnot. Or it should be BBN actually, if you think about it that way. But whatever, BBU. So that's where our next situation is. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Okay, let's see here. Sorry, I had to step away for just a second, which just a second was like 30 minutes. Anyway, so where are we at in the timeline here? Okay, BeckyBoop is trying to start her own network. All right, the BBU. All right, here we go.
Here's what happened. You know, I left the LCU, and the last time I left the LCU a couple months ago, I wasn't sure where to go next, and I wasn't quite sure what to do, and it all tied together in me knowing that it wasn't the right time to leave yet. It just wasn't the right time. This time, I left, and I thought, what do I want to do next? What comes next from here? And I thought, well, I want to do the same exact thing I was doing. I had so much fun. I just didn't want to do it with Keem anymore, because we were not on the same page and we butted heads too much. Fuck you, Keem! So when I left and I realized I wanted to do the same thing I was doing, but just not with Keem, can you guys guess what my next step was? I'm creating my own network because we don't need the LCU. I think we've all outgrown it. We were tired of being there and it was toxic as fuck. And at least, I don't know about you guys, but I could see from everyone who left with me that a lot of you felt the same way. So, yeah, you're getting me outside of the LCU. And Keem was saying, oh, views will fall off because it's just her. She won't have all the infrastructure. Yeah, we're going to have a whole ass network, baby. And I've already got about 8 people lined up as hosts. We're fucking doing it. We're going head to head with the LCU. Now, to be honest with you,
I really hope it's not like that. Like I said, she is bringing like former people on who have been, like I said, former LOLCOW universe alumni or whatever, who have been spurned in some type of way, shape, or form. I get that, but if she expands, she shouldn't expand too fast. Start with her show, build that up. Excuse me, build up the Reddit and whatnot, and wherever, build up her Discord. She went ahead and has, I guess, revamped that or whatnot. Those seem to be working on all cylinders, and then branch out, maybe get another show in there. And just do it that way instead of just trying to do it all right away. You know what I mean? Because if not, she's going to fall into some of the same traps that Keem did. Because Keem expanded way too quickly because he wanted LOLCOW Universe or LOLCOW Network to basically be your one-stop shop. And some of that shit's just kind of stale, to be honest with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're kind of just all over the place with it, and there's not enough being done. And I will say this, despite what you might think of Jay and whatnot, he probably should still have a role over there in the LCU. I know he's doing all right on his own, but he probably should actually still have a role over there. Review Tech's good where he's at, because he ain't got himself ran off of Twitter. He had himself ran off of Twitter, so he's on Blue Sky now. I don't know what he's actually doing on his streams, really. I would assume Sly had already packed his ass up. So there's that. Sly and fucking name. And what's Homegirl's name? And Sav. I think they both basically did a good job packing up Rich. So there's Rich on that. But I think Jay still has a spot over there. But of course, you know what I'm saying, fucking LOLCOW Madhouse is gone. So, you know, Joffrey's doing his own thing and whatever. So there's that. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just throwing that out there to throw it out there. But in any case, I just think if she overextends herself too soon, it's not going to work. She doesn't have the resources yet, if not at all, really, except for her own platform. Bring those people on, get them accustomed to seeing them and whatnot, and then slowly branch out. Don't sit there and try to compete head to head with she said she had 8 people lined up, so let's say 3 shows. Let's say 2 shows. Actually, let's be conservative. No, let's say 3. Because then you can have 3 people on one, 3 people on another, and then 2 on the other, and then they can rotate. So let's say 3 additional shows plus her show, that makes 4. I mean, even then that might be a little too much, to be honest. But it should really be like just 3 shows. She should just go with the triad method and do that and see how it goes leading up to the end of the year and then go from there. Because if she expands too quickly, if she tries to go head to head, Keem will squash her in numbers, sooner than later. He'll literally be able to pick off her shows one by one. So you're getting into that. And Keem is not, you don't become rich or even wealthy by being a good person. You got to be ruthless. And Keem is as ruthless as they come. So if he has to pick off people in her circles to get them to side with him, so she ends up being forced to crawl back because he doesn't want to lose her. You know what I'm saying? He just wants to teach her a lesson, like on some DSP shit. To get her to crawl back, then he will. So don't ever forget that.
I'm not even doing this to get back at the LCU. I'm not. I don't hate Keem. I don't hate Mike. Maybe hate Tina. I hope you drink out of a mud puddle, and I wouldn't care if it fucking killed you, Tina. I am so over fucking working with you. But I don't harbor any resentment towards them. Things ended. Things were going in a new direction. But we all know it was like kind of cultish, right? And kind of toxic. Everyone who was Becky Gang knows we couldn't even hang out in the server without being attacked. So I figured, when I wanted to do the same thing, well, there wasn't another network like the LCU out there. So I guess I had to create my own. So introducing the BeckyBoop network.
I don't even, you can't say that you're not resentful or you don't hold things against people. And yet you just said you want to compete up against them, and then you're going to call your network the BeckyBoop network. You could have called it something a bit more, I don't know, inviting, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of calling it the BeckyBoop network, you could call it the, I don't know, call it fucking, I don't know. You can call it anything, I guess. Like, you call it the, she could theoretically call it, she could call it LOLCOW Queens, but let's say we move away from the LOLCOW brand. So, like, she could call it the BQ, like the BQ universe, like Beauty Queens universe or whatever. I assume that there's going to be some guys brought in there eventually. Not to say they're all going to be bitches, but whatever. But she should, I don't know. I feel like branding it as your own name is kind of a bit bullshit, to be honest with you. That's why Keem didn't call it the Keemstar network or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He called it LOLCOW Universe or LOLCOW Network instead. But I'm also a realist in that she's going to use her name to bring people in, and she can always give the parent company a brand new name later. You know what I'm saying? If it works out, and then if you think about it, if the plan goes away, I think it will. Keem brings her back in, she could literally be considered as a subsidiary under her network, could be considered a subsidiary of his or of the LOLCOW universe as a whole, which would have to give her ownership in the LOLCOW universe or whatnot. Like I said, I'm thinking way in the long term here, but it could be a thing. But I don't know. Seems kind of silly to me, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? She's still mad. She's trying to prove a point. You know what I'm saying? A woman scorned, and so on and so forth.
You don't have to be part of the LCU anymore. Come on over here to the BBU, at least if you were here anyway, because here it is all about you.
And the thing is that's why it's another thing too about bringing in some of the former independent contractors, that's what they're called, that were fired or who may want to jump ship or whatever. You theoretically that works for Keem too. Go ahead and if you split the brands up, if you will, it's like Raw and SmackDown. Let's use wrestling terms for a minute here. It's like Raw and SmackDown. It's like Coke and Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It can literally be beneficial for both parties. And truth be told, they're doing the exact same thing. They may even work for the exact same person. Because trust me, if this does somewhat succeed, let's say a year from now, Becky will turn into another Keem. She'll probably be a bit more cunning about it, but at the same time, she's impulsive, she's reactionary, she's not proactive, she's reactive more often than not. So there's still that problem. There's still that issue to deal with. But it'll be interesting to see either which way.
The first show is Queens Supreme. It is Queens as Queens should have been if we didn't have Tina weighing it down. Any guesses who the new queen besides me might be? Any guesses? It will not be Grace and Lynx. It will be definitely not RTU.
Yeah, bringing Grace or Lynx in there would have been terrible anyway. First of all, I don't know why you want to do anything with Grace. And Lynx, holy shit, Lynx. Why the fuck you want that to happen? That known leaker and doxer, you want to bring her in? Oh, wow. Obviously, she's not bringing her in, but you know what I'm saying? Like, holy fuck. And then the funny thing about the Lynx situation, right? I didn't think Grace was ever going to stick around, not with, you know, how that daddy-daughter nonsense is going on over there. That's a no-no. That's a big no-no. But I didn't think she was going to really last anyway. But Lynx, dude, people have been trying to tell Keem and other members of LOLCOW, hey, you can't trust her. She has a background in leaking shit. She has a background in doxing shit. This, that, and the third. Don't do this. Do not do this. They didn't listen. And the moment that chick caught a hissy fit, look what happened. And then look at what she did to Keem later. Womp womp.
I see some of you've got it. It's Roxy. And that's just going to be the first show. It's going to be so much fun. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think Keem is seething right now?
And that in her and RTU, sorry, let's go ahead and finish let's finish the circle, if you will. Her and Rich would have never worked anyway. That would have been just a constant bitch fest on who was at fault, who did this, who messed things up, who's better, who's worse, yada, yada, yada. Even if they were just doing it for the sake of the show, eventually it's going to get personal. Eventually Rich is going to make it personal. And then it's not going to be worth a damn either which way.
In Roxy's mind, in Becky's mind, you are idiot viewer. We can lie to you and manipulate you, and you're going to follow us to our personal channel and donate us money. They don't fucking respect you.
Keem don't either, so he's no better. Don't even get that twisted. Keem is in that exact same shit. He thinks most of the viewers, certainly the people who give him money, he thinks that you guys are a piece of shit. He thinks you guys are assholes. It is what it is. That's why the begging tactic over there works. He treats some of those pay pigs and whales or whatever the fuck they call them over there. He treats them in a similar way to DSP. How he treats his dents. And there's this thing going around about, you know, Keem is somehow training, conditioning, or advising DSP. I do think there is correspondence, but I will say that Keem, I don't know, I'm not completely subscribed to that, but I see how that could be a thing. But I will say this: Keem has picked up on far more of DSP's tendencies than DSP is picking up on his tendencies. And the thing is, whether you want to admit this or not, from a begging standpoint, it works. DSP does the PPP thing terribly, obviously, but his actual begging, the actual method behind it, the MO and whatever, it does work. And LOLCOW kind of proves that. You could even say that Queens, because Queens really kind of started it, if you will. But Becky does it in a different way, but it's still built off of the same foundation that DSP has laid down. It's really no different. It works, and that's why Keem does it. You know what I mean? But he doesn't respect them any more than DSP does. Let's be honest. It is what it is.
Obvious.
I told him when we ended things, we don't have to be enemies.
Becky and Roxy don't give a fuck about you. They literally think they could just manipulate. They could just lie to you. You're gonna sit there with their bowl of lies and just fucking eat it. Just eat it. Where's Roxy? Where's Becky? Let me go to their personal channel. Let me send them money. These poor girls, these poor women, they're just victims.
Hold on.
Women, they're just victims.
Oh shit, that shit is hilarious. But like I said, dude, the begging tactics work. And I'm telling you, if it turns out that this shit was an op between Becky and fucking and Keem to kind of for her to break off, do her own thing and whatever, because Becky wants to build her own brand, and then, you know what I'm saying, other people who didn't work out in the LCU go over there to her, and she's somehow able to mold it and shape it and make it into something else. I guarantee, if it ends up turning out like that, most of you may not remember this, but mark my words that I called that shit. Because theoretically, it's all there. Because in the exact same way that DSP treats these people like shit and thinks they're stupid, thinks that they can easily be manipulated, Keem thinks the same thing. Becky probably does too. So if this is all, but yet again, this is long-term type shit. We're playing the long game here if we're going off of my theory. You know what I mean? And you should never underestimate an opponent. You should never underestimate somebody's motives, right? Or their intentions. You should never do that. You should always look at the the bigger picture, I should say, in everything, to be honest. And you know what I'm saying? And theoretically, from a personality standpoint, Keem and Becky are the two strongest personalities out of that whole group, to be honest with you. It's just, it is what it is. And in the long term, from a business standpoint, separate, hey, you control this, these whatever, and I'll control this over here. And then Keem can slowly downsize and whatever, to where it's somewhat equal, at least show-wise, and maybe even the amount of employees there or independent contractors, whatever, that it could work. It really could. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe one day I'll bring out the whiteboard and I'll try to lay all that shit out for you a little bit better. Or I think I use a blackboard. You know what I mean? But maybe I can lay it all out for you to see what that is. I might actually make a good video if that's what they're trying to do. It could work. It very well could work. You know what I mean? And it just takes, it just takes subtle changes here or there to make it happen. As long as Becky doesn't, if she can build what she has now and really build off of it, and she doesn't overexpand too much, she keeps the show fresh, she keeps it interesting, she has a format to where they can always double back to something maybe they talked about a week or two ago if there are further developments, stuff like that. If she can really build something and maintain it, then there you go. Because like I said, the LOLCOW universe, quote unquote, is not in the greatest space. And like I said, bringing Wings back in there for LCU would be pivotal because he does bounce around from show to show just like Boogie does. And for Becky, it depends on who she picks up and depends on how she can make that work. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see. Like, there's a lot of moving parts in there.
I hope the LCU does great, but for all the Becky gang that he pushed out of there, he pushed them right into my open arms. Come here, guys. Come to mama.
Which is silly that Keem would do that. He pushed them out and whatnot, which is in turn, he was pushing out the majority of the money. But if my theory stands, then it does make a bit more sense. If you really think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at it in my current timeline, LOLCOW Queens, a lot of their audience are still Becky viewers and or contributors, if you will, or supporters. So she still hasn't really lost anything on that front, as well as now she's building up a whole new demographic of new pay pigs and whales and this, that, and the third. It has to be a slow process. But you know what I'm saying? Theoretically, if it is an op, if they are working together, if they are collaborators or whatever, he theoretically is doing his part to make sure that she can be propped up and she has something to build off of in one way, shape, or form.
God, that pisses me off. That is fucking ridiculous. That is fucking insane.
I'm not going to give specific names, but I will say Grace is actually the one who started this way back when she was the first one to be let go from Queens. That somebody should unite all the other rejects. Well, it looks like that person's going to be me. Your favorite people from the LCU who got booted unfairly or otherwise left of their own accord, we're going to have a chance to bring them here. I've already gotten several people who've agreed to be hosts. Oh, I thought of David Jaffe. I thought of Madhouse. I thought of David and Tech Protect and Bunny.
It's like Becky, what?
Now, just in case you're not familiar with this is Yo Mama. Currently in our timeline, he's fluctuating between Queens and and LOLCOW Live. He's getting more exposure now than he ever has. Just in case you guys don't know, he was offered his own show earlier on. And he said he wouldn't do it unless he could get Foodie Beauty and Amberlynn Reed to be hosts on the show with him. That was audacious. It was, I guess you can respect the ambition behind it. The problem was, he's a lapdog. He's someone who licks the ass of these women. So they don't really have a reason to respect him, despite the fact that at least Foodie Beauty, at the very least, does lean on him to be her mouthpiece when she can't talk. So he was offering, he wasn't offering, but he was saying that he could, you know, if that their podcast could bring both of them 6 figures, which there's no way that show was going to bring in, you know, $100,000, or at least be able to generate $100,000 a piece on top of Keem getting his cut. That was just not a thing. If it was able to make 6 figures, that was going right into Keem's pocket, not them. So that wasn't going to work. That wasn't a thing. And if with him putting that figure in their head, they're like, well, what the fuck do I need you for? What do I need Keem for? I can just go ahead and do my own thing. And that's what they're doing. Of course, they're not going to make 6 figures on their own doing their own podcast unless Foodie Beauty and Amber did it together. But they hate each other. You know what I'm saying? They're only sisters and fucking and Gunt because they have no choice. You know what I'm saying? But they hate each other. They don't trust each other. And they damn sure aren't going to split the money evenly, not without a third party. So that's not a thing. And for Yo Mama, I think he was like, hey, now we can literally funnel all of Girl World here in this one spot. And he's thinking, or he might be thinking, because it's hard to say, you know, where Yo Mama head at any given time. I heard he's into that nose candy. So I heard. He's thinking that people would probably be more willing to troll them and do it through the troll dollar, if you will, because it's going in through Keem's coffers and not directly towards them. I see his meta. I get his frame of mind or his frame of thought, but it's just not going to work that way. You know what I'm saying? All they're going to do is poach from his own audience, and that's it. He has Yo Mama has such a shitty reputation amongst reactors in Girl World, because he's an anti-reactor, by the way. He has such a shitty reputation that, you know, YouTube Underground, Charlie Gold, Milk Tea, you know, Alex is Shook, Zachary Michael, you know, FFG, any of the heavy hitters are not good. Unicorn Pondu, the Fat Girl, Fat Cow Chronicles. Like, none of them are going to throw no money at that. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. Some of the people in their audience might, just so it kind of funnels back into to the other reactors. But, you know, that large influx of 6 figures, you would have to have reactors that'll be willing to buy into that. And that's just not going to happen. And most of their top contributors are not going to do that. So that's just not going to happen. It's not possible. Not like that. That would be the equivalent of, I don't know, pick your top 10 favorite detractors, and whatnot, would contribute to DSP, and hopefully that would funnel out. DSP was dumb enough to think that would work, but no detractor worth their salt is ever going to do that shit. That's fucking retarded. It's just not a thing. So anyway, that's what Yo Mama was kind of gambling on too. But yet again, both of those chicks ain't turned his ass down, so it never happened. But Yo Mama may very well still get himself his own show. If not, he'll just get a contractor type contract, and then he'll float around, which is probably what he's best suited for anyway. So we'll see what that is, and we'll see how that plays out, because I'm anxious to see how that's going to work.
Chat, welcome Becky to the goddamn show. Becky.
Yo, mama, you son of a bitch!
Oh God, what happened?
You one-legged
What do you want? What do you want, bitch?
Goddamn pirate!
What do you want?
You think
what do you want? No, Baltimore.
You need me, son of a bitch. That's right. You goddamn, you can't do nothing with it. I am Queens, motherfucker. Honestly, I can't work with it.
Damn, Yo Mama, you cry ugly as fuck. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit, you cry ugly as fuck. Look at that shit. Ah, damn. Cry ugly as hell. The fuck? Anywho. But see, that's the reason why Keem likes having Yo Mama around, though, because he is animated. He will do, like, skits and stuff like that. He is, in some ways, however you want to perceive it, somewhat creative and whatnot. And that's the type of energy that Keem needs from everybody. He needs each one of these shows to have someone who is animated like that, who's willing to do skits and do pop shots at other people outside of the LCU and this, that, and the third, because you need that live wire type situation. He just doesn't have that, not to that extent anyway.
Honestly, I can't work with Roxy. I do.
She's crying. You gotta bring her
Let me
back.
back in. I just said
not doing it.
We gotta. She's crying.
Y'all
Again.
want a real queen and
She cries all the time. Let her cry.
God damn it.
Let her cry.
Fuck all the bullshit.
I hate
Tina,
seeing her
you
cry.
son of a bitch, I swear to God.
God damn! Look at that, Look at that shit! Oh my god! Oh shit!
Well, then you take care of her for a
When
lifetime.
I see you, I'm gonna kick that goddamn bad leg from underneath you, son of a bastard. I don't want to hear nothing.
Anywho, all right. So there's that. So yeah, so there you go with that situation. That's Yo Mama in a nutshell for the most part. So it gives you an idea of who he is and why Keem keeps him around. As it pertains to, as it pertains to Becky's network, we'll see, man. Like, we'll see. I'm anxious to see how it goes. We'll see what she does by the end of the year. If she's smart, slow and steady will win the race. Excuse me, or at least get her closer to what she wants or what she feels that she deserves anyway. But we'll see either which way. All right, let's go ahead and close up shop on this. Let's go with yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and finish off with a nightcap and whatnot. And close up. Okay, so like I said, this should give you the full story on why Becky exited from the LCU and what her overall plans are moving forward, and you know, what is the LCU going to do moving forward, to be honest with you. Because don't think of it as, or I won't tell you what to do or what you won't do. Think of it this way, or consider this. Just because Keem has probably quite a few people who are willing to come onto the show or onto his shows or whatever the case may be, that's not necessarily a good thing. You're talking about quantity over quality. You know what I'm saying? Now it's LOLCOW, so there's no real quality anyway. But you know what I mean. You're talking about a quantity over quality type situation. Becky plays it smart. If some of these other quote unquote rejects play it smart, who decide to side with her, if they all play this smart and they really try to build her network up, meaning that, which is what should have happened over there in LOLCOW Live or the LOLCOW universe, everybody needs to learn how to use OBS from the rip. Straight off the rip, everybody needs to learn how to use OBS efficiently. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everybody has to be experts at it. I know I'm not. But everybody needs to learn how to use OBS. So if one person can't make it that day, the other person, let's say out of a 2-man or a 3-man or 3-person show, each and every one of them can use OBS effectively and efficiently. That's the first thing. That needs to be done off the rip. After that, you take the tools that Keem gave you guys while you were in the LCU and you use that to your benefit. He showed you guys how to structure a show. He showed you guys how to structure a format. He showed you guys what to look for. Use that. Use that. Take advantage of your experiences and the knowledge and information Keem gave you and build upon that. So it's what you guys were doing over there, but now you're doing it over here with less pressure, except for the pressure that you're putting on yourselves. Now Keem isn't there to put the battery in your back or fucking whip the shit out of you when you guys fuck up this, that, and third. Now it's on you. You can, like I said, Becky takes her time with this. These people can learn at their own pace, and then they can put it all together. On top of letting them do, having them do content on their other channels. Hey, if you're coming under this network, I need you guys to do content on your own channel. Whatever it is that you want to do it. And then make sure that you're always pumping or promoting the show that you're on in this network. That's all they have to do. You know what I'm saying? Hell, they could do a 15-second or a 30-second insert that they can create themselves, and then they can insert that into their own streams as a promotional tool. I could go on and on with it, but these are the things that they need to do to be successful, to in turn make have the network be successful. So they have to build up their own platforms. So this way, whatever show that they're on for under the BeckyBoop network or whatever, that can be successful and that can grow the overall network as a whole. And if they do that, then it could be something. Becky also needs to be aware that Keem will poach these people, or he'll at least attempt to, and money talks. So, you know, these people who aren't doing content, or they're barely doing any content, or they're misguided, or they don't know what they're doing, you may be giving them an outlet. You may be giving them an opportunity for them to kind of pick themselves up, you know what I'm saying, and actually try to get shit going. But Keem is the type of person to let you do that. Go ahead and rehab these people, right? Rehabilitate these people, help build them up, and then he'll just come in and snatch their asses up later. So she has to think about that as well. Unless this is a collaborative effort between her and Keem to do just that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at, you know, this BeckyBoop network as nothing more as development. The NXT, if you will. I used the wrestling term earlier with SmackDown and Raw. Theoretically, Becky could very well just be NXT. That's literally what it is. And it gives her a chance to shape these people up and this, that, because like I said, they should use what they learned with the LCU as it pertains to show structure, format. They already have that information. They already have that knowledge. They already understand how that works. I'm sure most of them still have those scripts on their PC still. It's in a notepad or whatever. They should use that format and just tweak it in a way that they feel comfortable with, but they should be using that to move forward and to build off of what they already have. You shouldn't just discard all of it. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I'll keep following this and we'll see where it goes. But I will catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Snort Report, or the LOLCOW Report. And this has been DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report or whatever, or LOLCOW, or the LOLCOW News, I will, or the LOLCOW Report actually. I've been your host / anchor GTG, and I'll sign off. We'll see where it goes, man. We'll see. I'm not gonna watch it religiously. I'll just keep up with it periodically. But I am anxious to see how Becky's gonna do this, because she has more riding on this than anything. You know what I mean? She has more riding on this than anything. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'll catch you guys for the next one of these. Take care of yourselves, people. Oh my gosh. Later.